When you thought it was safe to come out again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition, to another installment of hashtag Fade to Black. And before I introduce my panel, happy Black History Month. Not only just to my panel, but to all of y'all. For this whole month, we will be recognizing the unsung to the sung heroes of Black history. We're going to go through sports. We're going to go through entrepreneurs. We're going to go to icons who was on the path to help us to get the civil rights that we enjoy today. And my words are kind of tangled, but you know what I mean. Black History Month all through the month. Now, let me go ahead and introduce my panel. Here I got Anita Joe, aka Teach, and then we have Beast Johnson. Welcome, guys. How was your weekend, by the way?
Good
It was
evening.
good.
Pretty good.
How was yours?
Just going to Portland with my girlfriend. She decided to celebrate her birthday early thanks to a group of her friends. I had a great time out there. So, but I also was thinking about this show, how I was going to make it extra special. But speaking of special, we got some birthdays to celebrate.
Oh,
So
yes.
Oh yeah.
we got some birthdays. So first of all, I'd like to wish both of y'all happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, teaching bees. Happy birthday to you. We got one turning 21 again. We got another one turning 19. Must be nice. Must be fun. But other
I'll
than
take that.
that, but other than
As
that,
long as I can keep my memory right now, I can guarantee my 20s will be a lot better.
other than that, Teach, you will lead us into our opening statements. And let's start this Black History Month segment. Well, I won't say segment, but this campaign on the right foot.
Good evening, everyone. Yesterday was Beast's birthday. And from time to time, I say to you all, live while you are alive, because when you're dead, you live no more. So I'm going to dedicate my opening statement to the 37 ways I love Beast Johnson. But I'm only going to give you 7 at this time. First and foremost, Beast Johnson is an Aquarius. Yes, that's the first reason why I love Beast Johnson. And the second reason is because he is an Aquarius, he is intelligent and he is creative. He is eclectic. He's very witty and he's articulate. And number 7, he is gifted. He is an example of how you take your gift and work it for your life. He recognized the gift that his creator has given to him. And from time to time, if you're on his feed, he's creating music. He's making music. Music that's good to the soul, that's good to the ear, that's just good music. So happy birthday, Beast Johnson. And it is my prayer that you will receive monetary blessings from the gift that your creator has given you, that your life shall be long and your legacy shall be great and always remembered. Everything that your hands touch shall be blessed. And with that, I yield the floor.
I was hoping he would go first, give me some moment to compose myself. But yeah, thank you, Teach. Mm. This ain't the weed. This that hit right there. Whew. Mm. As I was listening to Teach, I was reminded of a past relative who we affectionately call Monk. And every year on my birthday, I don't care where I was, I don't care what was going on, whether she had my number or not, she would wake up, know it's my birthday, and would find means to contact me, just to contact me and say, well, baby, I ain't want much to say. I just want to call you and tell you happy birthday, baby. And you gonna be good right with the Lord. I'll talk to you later. See you Sunday. And she's not no longer here with us. So to hear that type of genuine love and appreciation, definitely hit a brother right there in the subconscious of your heart. Mm. And I'm trying to remain my civility and manhood and not cry up on this camera. But I'm just gonna leave that as my opening statement. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes from not only Teach, but from everybody, whether Facebook, calling, come by, checking up. I went through a lot of shit to get to 37, surprisingly, because never honestly thought I'd see this day. So looking back at everything, to see the love I have now, definitely makes this top 10 birthday. So thank you all. And I yield the floor.
Damn, Beach, I'm so sorry about that, man. Dang. See, this is what happens when you let two other people take over for the opening statements, and now you just gotta live up to that. Dang it. So what I have to say is this: having both of y'all on this show as a panel means so much. So much to me. Teach. She bring the balance. She brings that woman motherly touch to the show, which also everybody loves on the show anyway. And then Beast Johnson, he brings from the hood, from the streets, from the hustlers, from the independent artist standpoint. And then you got me, the host, that keeps everything, the moderator keeps everything also in balance. But to have both y'all birthdays like on the same week, I mean, it must mean a whole heck of a lot to each and every one of y'all. So I, from the bottom of my heart, wish y'all a very, 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 very happy birthday, and blessed to have y'all on this show, that people can hear your word and that we get to the solutions to our issues, and then also to have a great time on this show too, as well, to enjoy life, as Teach would say. So once again, happy birthday to the both of y'all. Teach, you ain't gonna get me crying. It ain't happening. Not happening. Beast, I'm holding in for you, man. I'm holding in for you. But for me, my opening statement is to go on to our Black History Month campaign. Yes, I'm gonna call it a campaign, and introduce this man that y'all probably never even heard of. He goes by the name of Willie T. Ribs. Willie T. Ribs was an African American racer. He was in the Trans Am series. He was trying to get into the F1 series, but racism always played a pivotal role in his career progressing. But he did not allow that to stop him, as he dominated the Trans Am series, and also will always be known of a what if he really would have entered into F1, would it be a Lewis Hamilton? If he entered in NASCAR, would it be him and my boy Wendell Scott, rest in peace, competing for a NASCAR championship? Or a Bubba Wallace, if we're going to be frank, or a Bill Lester? This is, ladies and gentlemen, the ballot that I'm happy to bring to y'all of Willie T, this unsung hero that you should learn about.
Muhammad Ali. He said to me, you're going to deal with some challenges for one reason only. You're in an all-white sport. In England, I won the Formula Ford Series. No one could beat me.
He came back knowing I just accomplished something that very few Americans have, and no one would give him a shot.
Think about that time period we were in the 70s. There was still a lot of segregationists.
Next week, I'm gonna put Jews in anything. I get a phone call from a promoter in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're gonna get some attention down here, and you're the guy that's gonna bring it. There was death threats. If this nigger races in this race, he might not leave alive.
It probably felt like it's me against the world.
You want a reason not to like me? I'm gonna give you one.
Our leader once again, Willie T. Ribbs, out in front. Willie T. Ribbs, his fourth victory in the Trans Am Series. We have a winner of the Texas Challenge Trans Am.
If you don't want me in your sport, then beat me. My ultimate goal is IndyCar.
There was a lot of guys on that team that did not want to see Willie in that race car.
I knew he was an executioner.
Looks like we have a blown engine. Yeah, looks like Willie T. Ribbs.
We're out of money and out of everything.
Do you think he'll get in? What do you, I mean, just a gut feel. Are they going to make it or not?
It's so hard.
I drove to turn one for qualifying, and I pegged it. I'm either in the race or you peel me off the cement.
There is no sport more exciting than racing. This is the next best thing to heaven.
They called me uppity, and I loved it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, think about that. Hopefully the new generation is watching this right now. We don't shut up and dribble. We don't just carry or throw a football or kick a soccer ball. We also know how to drive a car here and there, know how to put the pedal to the metal. So when you hear your friends say, well, oh, that's a white man's sport, just mention to them, do you know who Willie T. Ribbs is? And obviously they're going to say no. Tell them to go look him up. He'll be waiting. If he believes it or not, he have opened the doors for NASCAR lovers like myself. Big open wheel fan. I just don't like football, as I got my Cowboys on, or basketball. I'm a big Mavericks fan. But we also in sports. So let's end that cliche of NASCAR only being a white man's sport. Because look at what we got right now. We got Bubba Wallace in the Daytona 500. Even though he's driving a Yoda, I wish him nothing but the best. But remember, who not only opened that door, he literally blew that door up for people like Lewis Hamilton, Bill Lester, and as well as Bubba Wallace to have what they have today. And that is my Black History Month for the first show of the campaign. So now let's get into the show. And then let's try to hold back all the, tears and everything. I want to make it through the show, y'all. Okay, please. Can we do that? All right, cool. Let's go. All right. Before we get started, Beast, are you good?
I'm good.
Okay, cool.
I'm good.
Cool. You good?
I'm good, but I wanted to show.
I gotta get you back teaching.
Okay. I don't know. There you go.
Over. Yeah.
Can you see it? Well, anyway, I ordered these T-shirts. I have a girlfriend. Her birthday is on the 1st, and I got her a T-shirt that says February the 1st. And then I have a girlfriend, her birthday is tomorrow on February the 2nd. And I got her a t-shirt that says February the 2nd. And of course, me, I come in 4th place, but that's the best place. So I just, I would have gotten you one, but it says queen. And I'm not going to
Yeah.
mess up your gender. No, I would not do that to you, but I'm going to find one that says king and get it to you. I didn't think they would get here because I ordered them Saturday, and I didn't think they would get here before our birthday. So I was so surprised that when I was out today, I got a little ding. It's like your package has been delivered. I'm like, huh? And I stopped what I was doing, came home to make sure I got my package. So I'm happy.
That's great, Chiefs. That's great. So, other than birthdays, let's get into what Black History Month means to you, to all of us, because there's still a debate out there where you got people that look like us. They're saying we shouldn't have a month dedicated to us because number one, it's short, it's the shortest month of all the year. Number two, why can't we just celebrate it? We're Black every day. We can't change it. We just can't say we Black for this 1 month and then next minute, after in March, we still Black. And then you got people that says we should still have Black History Month. It should be a month recognized for us so we can go over our history and go over the pioneers and the icons that put us in the place that we are right now. So what on the side of the fence are y'all on? Or even if it's just pure ignorance?
Honestly, it's never been a question of we shouldn't the same people that say we shouldn't have a month are the same folk that go to yearly traditions. Thank you, Tish, because she caught exactly what I was saying. Now, how ignorant is it of you to make that statement? Hey, number one, racially speaking, we was here first, so yes, we gonna get one. Everybody else got one. Damn it, why we gonna give it up? It's not about being Black for 1 month. It's like it's a celebration it's an event of celebration and reverence. Like you said, Donnell, a moment where we can reflect back on those that pioneered and got us to the point that we are, as well as the unsung, the unknown. Give everybody that moment of praise and reverence and celebrate the fact that we as Black folk are still here in spite of it all. Same way, it's a Black folk, it's a racial birthday. Does that make any sense to anybody? It is at one time of the year where we as a race can come together and say, we made it for another fucking year. Mm-hmm. They tried to kill us. Some of us didn't make it, but we all here, baby. Black is still here, baby. Mm-hmm. And then next month, the Irish can say it. We didn't die from the potatoes. We survived the potatoes for another year. And then the Mexicans come in with May. We still here. Most of us ain't got papers, but we still here, baby. It's a yearly tradition for your race. You get to celebrate your birthday. You get to celebrate any other special sentimental day for you, marriages,
Cinco de
Mayo. That's the Mexican racial birthday. Mm-hmm. Everybody gets a birthday, so why not your race? And at least they had enough common sense to allow that. And you want to give it up? You want to deny your birthday? I'm not calling nobody out, but that's some Jehovah's Witness mess right there. You changing religions on us, boy? Speak up now. You changing gods? I'm just playing. Just being whimsical.
I say to the individuals and the groups and the collectives that argue against having a Black History Month, I say that this is the reason why we have Black History Month, because obviously you are detached from your heritage. You have fallen into a place of self-hatred. So let me just give a brief background concerning Black History Month. Black History Month was founded by an individual of the name of Carter G. Woodson. In his world at that time, he looked around and saw that we were at a place that we had great inventors, we had great scientists, we had great actors, doctors, lawyers, but their stories were not being told. Their history was not being told. So in his intelligentsia, he crafted a period of time, almost like an annual review, that will tell the good news about, at that time they used the term Negro, to tell everybody about what we are doing as a race. And this happened during the Harlem Renaissance. And if you know anything about the Harlem Renaissance was the point in time where the American Negro finally had its voice. They ran many contests to describe who was this new Negro. So the Harlem Renaissance came after the Reconstruction period, which came after the Civil War, that came after Emancipation Proclamation. So we have a group of people that they themselves were slaves, their parents were slaves, their grandparents were slaves, and now we have this newfound freedom. And in the mode of trying to gather ourselves, we had to create systems to celebrate ourselves, because before then all we knew is that we were slaves and we were shiftless and lifeless and every negative thing that the slave owner put upon us. We had to carve out and create a new identity for ourselves, and we had to do this. So he designated Negro History Week. And in his mind, in his day, the reason why he chose the last week of February to celebrate was because of one Frederick Douglass. His birthday is in February, and history tells us that Frederick Douglass was a great historical icon in terms of the abolition and the freedom of many slaves. All right. So in honor of Frederick Douglass and his birthday, he designated that week. And secondary, another reason why he chose February and the last week of February is because of the President Abraham Lincoln. Many people find it controversial, but this is his reasoning. Abraham Lincoln utilized his power of presidency to create freedom or release the formerly enslaved Africans into a status of freedom. So because he created and signed the Emancipation Proclamation, that was a great historical act in his mind. And today, the descendants of the enslaved Africans at that time are still free. So because of Frederick Douglass and also Abraham Lincoln, Carter G. Woodson designated the last week in February as Negro History Week. Now, controversy rose from that. Why should we only have a week? We should celebrate it all month long. So in the 70s at Kent State University, they had a demonstration and sit-ins, and they changed it from Negro History Week to Black History Month. So you have the history of how it originated and then how it has changed. And even now, because Black History Month is going global, they're changing the title again. It's not official, it's more or less unofficial, but to African History Month. So various countries around the world, Jamaica, Suriname, Chile, are gravitating to a holiday that was created in the United States for the purposes of educating its people, celebrating its people, being glad to know that that we have great scientists, we have great inventors, musicians, dancers, doctors, lawyers, carpenters. What else do we do? Manufacturers,
Everything.
farmers. We have everything life has to offer, and there's someone like Darnell said in the beginning, that's an unsung hero. How many people know that the intermittent windshield wiper was created by a Black woman?
Did not know that.
How many people
I
know
didn't know the thing
that?
about Frederick Douglass, and that's the actual reason why it's in February. I honestly never knew that. I thought they were
Yeah.
I thought white folks was just being dicks. It was like, well, we'll give the niggas the shortest month of the year. It's just their one.
No, it wasn't about white folks. It was about Black people
Like
deciding
for real,
what they
I'm
needed.
like, thank you, like for real, because I always thought that was like just a white man ploy to just shut us up. Honestly, like in the back of my head, it's kind of what I always thought. That's why they did it. Like,
No.
it's more functional than that. That's very eye opening. Thank you,
One
Chief.
book you might want to read is The Miseducation of the Negro, and that's written by Carter G. Woodson. And he gives some details concerning a European education versus a Black nurtured education. W.E.B. Du Bois talked about that as well. But I wanted to ask this: in modern history, we just found out that it was Katherine Johnson, a Black lady, that decoded the scientific formula to get man on the moon.
Well,
We've heard about her, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we just heard about it, but she did that what, 40 years ago, 50 years ago? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But we're just hearing about it. Okay. The LASIK eye surgery. Again, that was a Black female that created the LASIK eye surgery. The cell phone was
Video
created
games.
by Henry Sampson. Okay, he took the landline, modified it, and created the cellular service. All these new inventions that we utilize in our lives today, and if you look historically, and this is why Carter G. Woodson had to make the public aware of what we were doing, because the image that white America was showing to Black was not good. Can you imagine how slowly information is passed on? And I ask you to think about it in this term. The state of Texas and Louisiana did not free their slaves until 2 years after, in 1865. And the reason why they did not free their slaves is because, one, they didn't want to give them up. And two, as long as the slaves did not know that they were free, they kept working because they had not gotten that information. And the federal government had to send in the troops to release the slaves in 1865, when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed in 1863. So you see how for 2 extra years, those plantation owners reaped the benefits of slavery, knowing full well that slavery at that point had been abolished in the United States of America. All right.
Mhm.
So
They
Carter
probably
G.
went extra hard on
Woodson, so knowing how slowly information was passing in order to build the self-esteem, remember we're talking about a downtrodden people. We had to raise the self-esteem and have them look at their brothers and sisters in a different light, to see that their brothers and sisters were actual impetus to the Industrial Revolution. We can name a list of people whose inventions we thought were white. We uncover and find that they were black people at the helm, from the light bulb to the cotton gin to the refrigerator to the engine in the car to the street light.
AC, monkey
And
wrench,
so,
video
yes,
game, super
yes,
soaker.
Peanut
yes.
butter.
So, yes. So, what we
I can
have
just
to
throw out. I can just
understand,
randomly throw something out there. Probably black person probably made it. I can just Q-tip. We probably made it.
right? So, what we have to do, the purpose is to make us aware, to build up self-esteem and to build up racial pride. Because remember, I've said this so many times, we are the original people that were created on this earth before any other race of humans. We were the original. So with the original thought, original inventions come. You have to understand how it all ties in together. And when you look at even recently as last year, when they say, oh, we have the cure for the coronavirus through this vaccine, what did they say? Oh, here's a black lady.
Black folk will take it. We got a black person to take it.
No, here's a black lady that worked on the team to develop the vaccine. Okay? Everything comes through us. Everything comes through the black race. When they say ye are the salt of the earth, what does salt do? Salt preserves as well as it adds flavor. We are the salt. The black people are the salt of the earth. Everything the earth needs comes through the black person and or the black continent. I seen something today, and I'm gonna stop in a second because I want you all to speak.
Yeah, go ahead, Teach. Go ahead, Teach.
You know, there's a phenomenon that is both baffling and irritating, and that is other races desire to touch our hair.
Talk about it.
I got one for you. Keep on going.
The reason, and this goes on for ages, centuries. They consider when a white person rubs a black person's hair, that is like rubbing a good luck charm. That some power, that black girl magic or that black man magic will rub off and bless them. It's also been said that our hair, of all types of hair, our hair stands up and is like an antenna. So we receive messages from our creator. All other people races, their hair goes down. And of course, we have a different texture, which make our hair rare among humans like diamonds. So our hair has power because it has the messages. It has the messages of those inventions.
Well, let me go ahead and elaborate on what Teach is saying. You got to hear this, Teach.
Got me feeling like Samson out here right now.
Hold on,
Power.
let me start. Let me
Touching
start.
my hair like power. Go
Let me
ahead.
start. Let me start from beginning.
Cable TV, it's awesome. Hatred. Do you have to have hatred to succeed in this sport? Because here's the thing, he's a really nice guy behind the scenes. But I mean, do you have to hate your opponents to win?
Can I touch your hair? Can I feel? I love your hair, by the way.
Random.
That has never happened before, because everybody that's
I like
sitting in this
to
chair
know.
is thinking, and I can assure you, that's real hair, people, and it's very soft, I might add. What is the question?
Okay, that was 2 racist backhand compliments. Back to back. Quick
so
2-piece.
So just to go off what you're saying, what do you think about that video? Because I'm gonna keep my thoughts to myself until after you get done. For what you just seen right there.
She was too willing to let him put her hands in her hair.
I mean, looking at the context, I understand. So it's like I understand why she did. She on camera. This her job. You know, I know she talked some shit when she got home. Like, probably thought to herself, "Why I let this motherfucker touch my hair?" It was like, yeah, you got called up on the spot, and there was a camera. It's like, crap. This is a battle you got to pick.
So here's my view on that. So it all goes to what Teach was saying. And not to mention that anchor who is now not on Sports Center, the main one, she's like on like the second tier shows. She believes in that philosophy of, all lives matter and all that stuff. So it was no big thing for her to have somebody touch her hair and all that stuff. But if you had somebody like, what's her name, Champion, and then I've got the other one that left ESPN, they would have been like, you ain't touching my hair.
Look, no, they hit them with a quick box of head bob. What you doing?
Yeah, but to go on to what's all been said so far by you, Teach. I'm not on the fence with it. I could say that I'm happy that we have a Black History Month. For people who sit there and say I'm Black every day, I say, okay, cool. I'm Black every day, but what defines you as being Black? What have you done? And see, and all the things we talk on the show, it's like it all comes back to this point. What have you done to say, I did this for my people? That I
give you a better one.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll give you a better one. You say, well, I'm Black every day. Do you celebrate being Black every day?
Yeah.
Do you acknowledge the Black people that came before you every day? Do you give reverence and honor to those that paved the way just for you to do the most simplistic of things every day?
And see, and I think that's also lies in the issue too, because, with past guests on the show, they look up to certain people rather than everybody. Seeing what they contribute. Just because you look at a certain amount of people because they're in your narrative, they fit your narrative, does that mean you celebrating Blackness? You celebrating a certain part of Black history, a certain part. When there's a whole, like what Just Teach said, there's a lot of things that probably ballooned a lot of people's mind, or maybe some people knew about it. But see, key word, some. Like, I didn't even know that a Black person created the doorknob. I didn't know that. I guarantee you anything like what B said, like I could just name up something random. A Q-tip fitted by a Black person. Ice cream, freaking the gas mask. Ain't that something? The same Black folks
but when you go back and think of it as a Black person, that's the beauty of being a black person. Go back and actually think of all the random things that exist in this world and think a nigga most likely made it. Why? Because they was tired of doing some bullshit the other way and said this is easier, safer, or healthier. Or this will get the job, this will do what I need to get done. Right. And the white man saw and said I can get money off of it. And that's how it always is.
And here's the thing, and y'all know I'm a Ford fan now. I got my Ford coat in the back. I'm a diehard Ford fan, but I respect
nigga made it.
Huh? Hey,
you gotta do it like South Park. Nigga made it. But white man, but what about nigga made it? But what nigga did it?
But here's the thing: the body of the car was actually created by a black man, which actually near the neck of the woods where you at, Teach. Somewhere in the Indiana, Ohio area, Detroit. I know it's for sure is around that area up there in the Midwest, where
A black
where
man
here.
started NASCAR when you were speaking about it earlier.
Oh, Willie T, yeah, and
No, no,
see,
no, 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 no. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about Willie T is for professional. I'm talking about pioneer. That was
oh,
invented primarily by black folk. Because yes, it is about moonshiners and doing all that running during the prohibition. But let's be honest here, people. Who was actually doing all that illegal midnight driving?
well, that's true too. But yeah, but going on to that. So Henry Ford, who bought the patent, I don't know if he's taking it from them, but bought the patent. Only thing Ford was known for was the assembly line. But guess who he got the assembly line idea from? George Washington Carver. From a peanut. From a peanut, ladies and gentlemen. And one thing people didn't understand about Mr. Washington, he literally talked to the plants. He literally talked to them. And he said that they talked back to him. Now, on hindsight, for us simpleton, us simple folks, we'd be like, yo, this man crazy. You're talking to a plant. But just because you can't hear it does not make that person crazy. Yeah, it doesn't make him crazy. Because look at the inventions that he did.
Yes,
Right. Look what the inventions that he did with just a peanut. Think about it. It wasn't for eating, it's also for saving people's lives too, as well, and also for the things that we wear. And to help out his good friend Henry Ford to start the assembly line. So for all y'all driving those Chevys and all that stuff and saying F Ford and all that, Ford Industries from the start already had black influence directly, not indirectly, directly. So think about that before you drive a Cadillac, even though I'm trying to defer y'all from getting Chevrolets and coming on to the Ford side, but that's true. But one thing that I would say about Black History Month that we need to stop doing, not only saying we need to stop celebrating Black History Month, we also need, if we're saying that, we need to stand on it. What are you doing to put your lasting remarks, not lasting remarks, but your lasting mark as being an African American or Black or wherever you want to call yourself? That you can tell your kids, I did this for, with a lot of the police brutalities going on, that I ran for office, or I was in the streets protesting and I ran for office. Even though I lost, I kept going until I won. Those type of things. Or start a community organization after school where you got all the kids playing football, flag football, baseball, all that stuff, and at the same time teach them to be better people. So when you say don't want to have Black History Month, not Black every day, make sure that you putting your mark and actually putting what you're saying, truth to power, on what you're doing to change that status quo. Because everybody can be Black every day. But like that old saying go, everybody wants to be Black until they really have to be Black. I would say the N word, but I'm not. But go ahead, Teach.
It's not just about being Black, it's highlighting the achievements in the Black community to raise racial pride, to inspire the youth to ascribe higher, to show that we do have examples that are either living with us or living past us, meaning that, you know, they have gone on and that they did leave a mark, they did leave their legacy. It's about acknowledging greatness within the community. It's not about being just, oh, I'm just Black. No, it's about knowing the full potential of the Black collective. And that's the point that they miss.
Yeah. And then going back to the unsung heroes, another pet peeve of mine, which I'm gonna address it more on the second half, but I'm just going to say it for this part, is that we have an issue of not looking for those unsung heroes. We keep saying the same people every year. Dr. King. You always say Malcolm X. You even got people that says Minister Farrakhan. They would say people like Diane Carroll or Oprah Winfrey. It's great that we keep bringing them up, but I believe that it should be new people every year that should be coming up. Like for the inventor of the Q-tip, to the inventor of the refrigerator, to the inventor of the gas mask, the inventor of the first blood transfusion. What's his name? Drew, Dr. Drew. I knew his first name was Drew.
Charles Drew.
Yeah.
Even Dr. Ben Carson.
Yeah, even old Benny. I'm gonna call him Benny. I'm not gonna give him his full name. He sold us up the river. So even old Benny, and then Condoleezza.
But he did perform that first type of surgery in his class. He's, as far as I understand, he's still at the top of his class for performing that type of surgery. No one has outperformed him. So he has created a legacy. He's taken some different turns, but we're not interested in that. We're only interested in the great things that he has done. We have a young talent coming up, Amanda Gorman, that spoke her poetry on Inauguration Day. People are saying, she's the next Maya Angelou. And I say she is the next Amanda Gorman. She can't walk in Maya Angelou's shoes, but Maya Angelou was a poet, but they can walk side by side, or actually she could walk behind Maya, but she'll always be Amanda Gorman. So Black History Month is to celebrate the history. She's becoming a hero at a young age. No telling what her life would take her. But we celebrate that. So if we would follow the pattern that was set, is to give an annual report. What happened in the last 12 months? 12 months ago, 2 months ago, we didn't know Amanda Gorman, but we can put her down in the history books. Okay, I understand she has got new contracts. So we can take her poem and we can dissect it, and we can weigh it against how the nation is responding. I, for one, I feel that we have kind of settled down. All the drama and the hyperness is not with our nation right now. So we're kind of coming down to a new peace, so to speak. And there might be some upheavals, but for right now, all that maniac, super adrenalized emotion, we don't have it, and we're breathing a sigh of relief.
Yes, we is.
Yes, we is.
My God. Yeah. And speaking of that, let us breathe in a sigh of relief as this is the top of the hour, and we will be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, don't forget to support the donation to help keep this show going and also keep it independent. Also, we got a Cash App. We haven't done it in a while, so I'm gonna plan on doing it on Wednesday. So if you got a request for any one of the panelists, their Cash Apps at the bottom. It could be a birthday request, could be a topic that we didn't touch that you only want them to talk about, but not too outrageous. We don't do no pranks, we don't do no craziness up on here. But like, if you want the panelists to talk about something that you need that needs to be talked about, go ahead and give them that Cash App, and I believe they will do the rest from there. All right, so it's going to continue strolling as well at the bottom. We also want to reach out, not even reach out, but give a shout out to our panelists. Seepaway. Now you realize he hasn't been here for a week. We already told you that he is training up for the Olympics, trying to be the oldest gold medalist, which we wish him nothing but the best, great blessings and all that stuff, but he needs your help. He is actually doing a GoFundMe. His goal is to 40,000. Right now, he's at 7,500. And what I'm going to do on this site, yes, publicity for our boy, I'm going to donate right now to his GoFundMe. Let me see if anybody's going to step it up on me. Let me see. Bam, bam. I'm not going to do anything because you know my credentials going to show, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that. But yeah, so go and support him. Let me go ahead and make this donation real quick.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because he's been training for this thing a whole heck of a lot. And we, like I said, we wish him nothing but the best. And hopefully he bring home the gold, which I believe he will. What do you think, Teach?
I believe he can. I believe he will. I believe I'm so excited. I can't even talk. But I really hope he does, because I do want to share in the joy of his win. And that's when we have that kinship. We know him, we talk with him, we've been a part of his life. And just for him to even enter the Olympics at his age is a milestone, is a record breaker. So for him to go in, and if he wins, oh my God, the accolades, the joy, the excitement that we African Americans will share because of his effort. So I would say to you all, go ahead, dig deep in your pockets and bless Seepaway. Bless him that he may be able to continue to train and travel and be successful in these Olympics. We have to support one another. We absolutely have to support one another.
Right now, unfortunately, I'm having issues getting in my my stuff. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and check it out. GoFundMe. Go help our fellow panelists to his goal to compete in this Olympics. He will represent the Belante. And so fingers crossed that he will meet his goal before deadline. Unfortunately, I'm having issues trying to go in, so I'm probably going to be trying this whole entire show. But Seepaway, just let y'all know, we're thinking about you, dog. Keep practicing, man.
You see you out here, pimp.
Mm-hmm. So
now,
yeah, go ahead, Teach.
What month is that taking place?
I believe
that would be the Summer Olympics, right? So,
yes. So that's coming up rather soon.
It's looking at 3 maybe 4 months. No, about good 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Technically February now.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, yeah, go ahead.
I would also ask people to go find the link, and even if they couldn't donate, just circulate it. Other people, share it, and just keep sharing it till people, just really help him on his way, because he's a long ways from his goal. And that's another thing, the African Americans always fall short. They don't have the extra comfort that they need to have when they're completing a task. And so if we can dig deep in our pockets and help or share, talk him up, make him a household name, you know, make him a household name, and help him on his way.
Mm-hmm. See the way we thinking
You
about
got
you, dog.
for those that don't know who Seafway is and wondering what to share and what to tell, Brother Seafway is a 50-plus-year-old brother from America who found his roots, his true roots, went back and embraced his roots, and his roots embraced him, and his roots found of his skills and his talents, and found means for it, and gave him the opportunity that America would not give him. So you see, this brother that grew up in America went home to Africa and was given the opportunity to go to the Olympics. Not only did he find where he came from, but now he get to go showcase, not just for the brothers here, but for the brothers at home. You got to support that. You got to at least tell folk about it.
Mm-hmm. Say it. And see, once again, see the way we're thinking about you. We're going to go ahead and push this out here as much as we can, and we wish you nothing but the best. So let's go back into our
Out swim them. Show them we can swim. Get your Michael Phelps on.
So now we go on back into the show. So what I really want to get at, because we already know why we have to have Black History Month. We already know. But now let's go to the doubters. Let's go to the people that said that a little bit further, that says we don't need it. We're Black every day. Our own Black people that's in office or have money and all that stuff haven't done anything for us. So why should we celebrate, Black History Month when, number one, Black every day. Number two, I'm still going, living the same thing like I did yesterday. What do you have to say for those people who believe in that type of philosophy? Because it needs to be addressed.
Once again, it's stupid. And another reason for a racial celebration is to clear up racial achievement discrepancies and actual historical facts. Since we're talking about, unsung heroes, being this is February 1st, if anybody that knows Black history, this is the day of the historic Woolworth sit-in from A&T, which was one of the many sparks of the civil rights movement. And it's always perpetuated the story of four brothers from A&T chose to go into an all-white establishment and sit their black tails down, knowing good and well they could get drugged out and die, and made a stand. What people don't know is the actual plan and orchestration of this was developed by the Bennett Bells, who are located right up the street, an all-female school. And their original plan was for them to do it. But it made more sense, knowing the dangers, for brothers to go out there and take that liquor versus sending four females out there, because they know that we got real ugly and need to go places it didn't need to go. But the Bennett Bells never really get their respect and just due. And they were the mastermind behind one of the powerful moments of civil rights movement. So you need a month like this just to clear up those discrepancies that people run around saying that we know the truth, but do you know the whole truth?
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole truth is deeper, just like what T said. It was a Black woman that got us to the moon. It was a black women that did the math for the first supercomputer. Like, this is things we need to know. These are discrepancies that need to be cleared up.
What about you, Cheech?
I agree the same thing. I feel that a part of the oppression that we have gone through is how we perceive ourselves and how we perceive our brothers and our sisters. And they try to in the mode of assimilating, being accepted into white culture, that is to deny your black culture. And I think that's a great misnomer. I always make this example that Michael Jackson was a black man. He became popular based upon him being a little brown-skinned boy with a big afro and a beautiful voice. But because of the racial pressures, as he got older, he began to take charge of how he would look and present himself to the world. And then when I see him in his altered state, I see a man that forgot that it was his brown skin and big bushy afro that made the multi-millions, if not, I don't know, the multi-millions of dollars that he
Icon
made.
status.
Exactly. That was, and you have to stay true to yourself. And it was so bad that when he decided to have children, he had children of another race. That self-hatred was so deep that he tried to pass off white children as his natural born children. And what it does is, and this is this whole slave master paradigm, the slave creates wealth for the master. By Michael Jackson taking those children in, not saying that he shouldn't take children in, he take children and love them, but his wealth passed on to what?
White, technically. Possibly Filipino with that last one. I don't know what that last one. He looked.
Okay. So the wealth transfer from the black to the other race. And this is what is imperative for us to understand when we date interracially. If we create any wealth in our life, we pass it on to the other race, meaning that we only can create wealth in one lifetime. We fail to create generational wealth because we're passing it on to a lineage that's not pure. So to the individuals that feel that I'm black every day, it's not about you. It is about celebrating and raising that pride and understanding of the African genius and how powerful it is if it's allowed to grow. So you have to understand the power of the African genius and why the African was enslaved. You have to look at the power dynamics. When the Europeans, let's look at why the Europeans came to Africa in the first place. What do we know? What do we know? Tell me.
Why did they were exploring. We know they were exploring.
Okay, they were exploring. They were exploring what? They were looking for food because they were starving to death in their land.
They were looking for trade items. Like that's we're gonna speak about it, how they spoke about everybody else. They went on exploration for trade and foods and food services. That was it. They're looking for people to get some stuff from.
This is what they wanted to trade. They wanted to trade the hungry stomach for a full stomach. Okay? They wanted to trade a hungry stomach for a full stomach. Okay?
For their sacrifice. That's what it was.
There's four things that drove them to explore. One was starvation. Their history tells us that there was a famine in the land, and they did not have the land base, the plant base, to feed the number of people in their land. So they were moving for their stomach's sake. The second thing is that they were plagued with sickness and disease. Sickness and disease were taking their numbers, wiping out millions of people. The third thing is fertility rate. Because starvation was killing people, sickness and disease was killing people, now they cannot reproduce as fast as death was taking them. Okay? And then the fourth reason that the Europeans began to explore is because they are warmongers. They were fighting each other, killing each other faster than they could reproduce. So when they began to explore, they were looking for lands so they can expand, so they can grow food, and have a better chance of survival. Because all in all, what they were looking at is their mortality. If our circumstances does not change, we as a race of people will surely die and not be numbered in this earth. So when they came upon Africa and saw that, my God, if they just saw Tanzania, they wouldn't want to leave because food is growing everywhere. When I first went in 1997 to the country of Senegal, the first thing you notice is how much food there is. Okay, so wow, Africa is good for food. It's more varieties of food than we've ever seen grow on our continent. Okay, so they exchange for food and spices and gold, and so forth and so on. But the main thing that they begin to see is that Africa and its people were blessed. African people had food in abundance. African people had great fertility rates. African people they were strong and hardy and not given to sickness and disease. And then the fourth, African people, they minded their own business. They did not use bloodshed as a means of war. Africans did what we know as capoeira. They would have war dances to resolve their conflicts. All right. So you find the total opposite. And so the African and its continent and everything in it became the prize. If we can possess the man, we can create the labor, and therefore we can create wealth. If we create wealth, then we answer our problem of man versus nature. Right now, nature is killing us. We're looking at our mortality. But when we take hold of the African and enslave him and we become wealthy, now we as white men have dominated nature. We can survive. And this is the lesson that's not being taught throughout their DNA. That in today, 2020, with the help of the African, the Asian, the Latino, the Native American, they have conquered nature and they can rest, and they don't have the same fears as their forefathers had 500 or 600 years ago. Their race can survive. So they need a new message to go throughout their DNA. They need a new message to go throughout their lineage, because they're still operating on the old message that we are about to die. Think about all of the articles that you see about the eugenics and how their focus is on depopulating Africa. Because in their mind, they always think, they say, oh, wow, in the year 2053, the earth is going to be 50% colored people of the world. Why are you concentrating on the numbers of African people or people other colors of the world when at this point in time, if you reduce homosexuality, if you reduce abortion with modern medicine, you can stabilize your numbers of people. But that is constantly in their psyche that their race is going to be annihilated. And that is the core of white supremacy. And I know this may seem like a tangent, but this is why we must have Black history to understand how precious our bodies, our minds, and our resources, mineral resources, are not to only ourselves, but the world. And one last point, now yield the floor. It is because of the wealth. Read European history. They had a history that only the royal family or the monarch could enjoy any form of wealth. The common person was simply called what? A peasant. And they had no way to move socially up the ladder. That was the old Europe. You had the aristocratic class and you had the peasants. And however you were born, that's how you died. If you had no way of moving. And that's why the United States became this great model of democracy, with the statement that, or the fulfillment and belief that any person can make his mark, can change his status from a peasant to nobility, or a peasant to a wealthy entrepreneur. And that's what set aside America from old Europe. That was the new thinking. But in that, as America grows and develop, it has to embrace diversity, because we are a diverse nation. And the nation is working. But we have to remove the old premise from which we began to work and understand where we are as a nation, and begin to really work and believe and trust that your race will not be eliminated, so you don't have to oppress the next race in order for you to be successful.
Well, Teach. Whoo-wee. Go ahead and shake my hand there for a minute. They're like, good grief, she's in on it. Man, welcome to the show, man.
I just snuck in the back room of the class, you know.
Yeah, yes, you did. So first off, we got both their birthdays. You probably already saw in the message board and all that stuff. You know, I already sung them happy birthday, everybody getting well wishes and all that stuff. So
Teach almost made me cry.
Yeah.
Well done, Teach. Well done. You almost made a grown 37-year-old black man cry on camera.
See, this is why
that's a mama. See, that's a mama level love right there. Y'all ain't catch that. That's mama level love. When you just like, my mama love me.
See, this is why I wish I had the replay, but I'm working on that. So, man, the question was posed. What do you say for the people that say we don't need Black History Month and that we're Black every day? Even though Teach, she basically just destroyed the question. What do you feel?
But before Mayo jump in, I want to tell her, because she says she spoke a lot about the mentality of it. And another reason we need it is in this era of trans, where anybody can be anything, we sacrifice our originality and our origin in this hope of this fantasy. Well, I used to be this, but now I'm this. You hear the level of change in my voice. That's the mentality a lot of people have. So when it comes to Black History Month, you have that self-hatred that feels like I'm black every day, so I shouldn't have to just celebrate it for 1 month. But then you also have the interracial, those individuals who, for like the white man say, got Negro features, but they don't identify themselves as black. And they've never really been exposed to true black culture. So they don't see themselves as black in their mind's eye. They're white or they're just interracial, but even to say interracial still means you have a lineage. You came from somewhere. So where did you come from? This is the month for you to know where you truly came from.
Ain't that the
Why
truth?
why does that not make sense to people?
But go ahead, Mayo.
No, I wanted to. First of all, you scared me. I thought you made. I thought it was like the birthdays came and gone away. I'm like, I just thought you just texted me the other day about it. So it's coming up. So I'm like, so happy New Year to you in advance. So when is yours, Beast?
Oh, mine was yesterday.
Oh,
Teachers
look at
is the
that.
4th.
Okay, my bad. So happy New Year to you. Happy belated New Year to you. Wish you many
Thank you,
more
thank you.
years, man. I take our birthdays as our New Year's and the calendar year is January 1st, but your day is your birthday, and that's the year you start a new year. So I say happy New Year to you. On that, I don't use the
Nice
birthday
teacher
thing.
shows the
You
shirt.
gotta see teacher. You gotta see teacher
There
shirt.
you go. Oh, I love it. I love it. Wow, I love it already. I love it. So I can't wait to see that when she wears it. But anyways, yeah, the Black History Month conversation. It's been I've put it in different variations. The biggest thing I can say is, of course, we need it. Carter G. Woodson, who started as a frat brother of mine. Well, I mean, he was a frat brother, but he did everything to put the history of the Negroes, as they call it back then, out, and because he knew that we would need to keep that history ahead of us, because other folks can easily change that history if we don't collect it and if we don't celebrate that history. So, for every reason why it's here, I appreciate it. Now, I don't think I don't think too many people do take it as a month, just 1 month thing. But I'm with the folks who feel like Black History is 365. But I, I guess I'm I'm torn in between. If anybody made the argument, like, why need Black History Month if we? Because people say that ask that question for different reasons. So I don't know which particular reason we're talking about today. But for whatever reason people are asking, the only one I've ever really paid attention to that seemed like like makes sense that why have 1 month when we can have the whole. But it's better to say you have something than to not have anything at all. We can't say Black History Year because then that means that 1 year or whatever. But it's a no brainer. I think it's one of those things that we definitely need to have a celebration of Black history. Now I don't know if the month is the way to do it. Just maybe give accurate Black history in all schools. Make sure it's mandatory in all schools so that the young white kids growing up in rural areas can also know about our history and look at that as American history. Not only look at it as that's Black folks thing, because that's what causes the division within our politics and everything else we do. Because we have different things that we're taught in schools, in the private schools and the public schools, especially in the city and in the urban areas. We've come to everybody's own their own America, and because everybody's on their own America, they've come to a situation where everybody's on their own set of education, a set of facts, and a set of whatever. Kind of like CNN, Fox News, MSNBC tell their own facts, which it might be all true, but when you just only tell one side of the story and don't tell the other
No,
side of the story, you got folks thinking again that
it's,
you know. Um,
it's very true, man.
yeah,
Well, you
yeah,
should just speak like the point about education. I ran across people that like same age as me, same year as me, grew up on the West Coast, and they don't know about Southern slavery. It's
what,
like, what were you taught?
what,
They
what? I
don't
mean,
know
like I
anything
don't.
about Southern
They're
history.
not
You know?
tall. They're not
Yeah,
tall.
well, yeah, I
Exactly. They
can't
don't know
imagine
me.
anybody going to HBCU. When I graduated out of Western Kentucky, which I thought was a good PDI. I realized that I think it was Cordial and my sister Anita knows this Cordial and Melly Mel, at the New Harvest, they were making fun of me, saying you look like Marcus Garvey, and I'm like, who's this guy? Like they're trying to clown. Let me go Google who this guy is, and that's when I found out. I'm like, dang, I can't believe I went through a whole college career not knowing who this guy is. Like how can that happen? Because he predated King and X and everybody else. They were all influenced by him. So I should be able to know who this guy is as a black man. So, and I can imagine being in the HBCU and them not having to touch on Marcus Garvey. You know what I mean? And maybe there are some HBCUs that don't touch on him. So it's just that we got to get to the point where we start to fight for that education all throughout the land, all throughout the world or the globe or the land, whatever.
It should be a general thorough education when it comes to the races. You get the good, you get the bad, you get the trials, you get the tribulations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you got to see where we came from and how we got here.
All right, go ahead.
Exactly. When I entered my graduate studies in history, on the first day at orientation, the professor said, he asked, what is history? And he said this statement. He said, history is agreed upon lies that white men tell. And he said, because you are a black woman, they will never hear your voice.
I mean,
and I'm thinking this is the first day of my graduate study, but it's a true statement. It's a true statement. And being a history professor, I do have a voice. I found my voice, and many people listen to me. But the educational system is very skewed.
Very.
You have people now working on changing the verbiage that appear in the textbooks. And specifically in the state of Texas and the state of Arkansas, they have changed the word. They actually had a law, a piece of legislation enacted that the word slave or slavery does not appear in any textbooks.
Yeah, that's
Instead,
crazy.
they will use the term intern.
Yep. Well, see, that's not new. That's not necessarily new, Teach, because it went from slave to indentured servant to now interns.
Yes, there was indentured servants, but those were another group of people.
No, they started passing all of them off as that now at one point.
Okay, right. So what they're trying to do is change history or change the way people view history by whitewashing it. They're saying that utilizing the term intern, these people came over to America, they work for free so they can learn job skills. And so you have a whole generation, or right now the second generation of people learning this, and when they hear or see Black people protest for some type of injustice, they're really confused because they don't have any history connecting them to why these people are reacting this way. So their action seems totally irrational, because after all, your ancestors were interns. They learned how to work. We had plenty of jobs for them. There was no unemployment. So why are you being so ungrateful now?
Or the types that
it's deeper than that. When you say intern, you're saying y'all voluntarily came over here
exactly
to work for no pay because you were going to learn how to do some things, and they were willing enough to not only clothe but feed and shelter you. Why y'all getting mad at them now? That sounds like a pretty good deal to me.
So let's bring it to modern times too, just to stretch on that. They also say Well, you're a good athlete. You're a great athlete. You got everything set for you. This is your final year. You can go off into college. Why are you protesting all this about police brutality and all that stuff? Why are you doing all this? Everything's been paid for you. That's also mentality that goes into it too. Because if you can run a football or shoot a ball, that is all great and freaking dandy. And it's always, I'm not gonna say it's always from the southern states, but if you look into conferences like the SEC, where
primarily.
yeah, primarily down there below Georgia. Basically, when you go beyond freaking South Carolina, they consider that the dirty South. When it comes to their football and when it comes to their basketball, get out the way. And so
Well, the NCAA has always been, and when I came out of school, I wanted to do this. And it's funny and ironic, and it's just like sad. I didn't have enough bandwidth or time, and just I guess maybe you grow further in life, then you kind of know what you can do. But I wanted to start a organization, a nonprofit called United Black Athletes. And I called Scooting Penn back then who played Ohio State. I called a lot of folks. Actually, the only person I could not get in touch with Jim Brown, which we talked about last week, and I because the reason why I said that is I knew people that were close to him. I tried to talk to Bill Willis, and because I had an opportunity to sit in the same club with Bill Willis, the first African American to play in the NFL, the Jackie Robinson of football. They played in 1946 on the Cleveland Browns, and before he passed away, and he's now in the Ohio Hall of Fame and NFL Hall of Fame. But I was sitting next to him in that meeting every weekend, every Thursday, and I was able to write this thing up, and I showed him, and long story he didn't want to do because he felt like white folks had done a lot of good stuff for him, in the sense of being able to being able to break that color barrier. They've done a lot of bad things too, but he said
Crossover.
a lot of people has done a lot of people to for him. He would look like he's ungrateful for him to go back to Ohio State campus trying to recruit the young folks. But my intentions of that back then was so that the folks who have been through college can fight for the college kids so they can get the rights. Because I've always felt like the NCAA has been the biggest sharecropping organization in America, and at some point somebody needs to, like, the United States Senate needs to stand up and call them into a hearing and say, pay these kids as much as y'all administrators are being paid, as much as this white coaches, which is most of the people. Like at that time, it was only 2 black coaches. I think that was coaching at that point. And as much as all these people are being paid, and these kids are putting their life and everything on the street, it was too close to sharecropping and slavery in 2004. Because I just graduated in 2004 at college at that time, so I was I was crazy about that. And I had paper and everything written down. I met a lot of athletes around the country. Anytime I met them, I would take their information down. And but I spoke to a lot of folks who were like probably older than Jim Brown, but didn't have Jim Brown's passion, or the fact that Jim, like, he could do whatever he want to do. He don't care what anybody says. I knew he was one that would be controversial without and anybody. He wouldn't care about being controversial, but I couldn't connect with Jim Brown. So, but I saw that to that. Yeah, the NCAA is still the most corrupt organization in America today, sharecropping for everything that those kids do. Because I played 4 years at Western Kentucky too, and coming out and knowing that a lot of my teammates, they come out and when they don't make it to the NFL or NBA for the basketball players or for whatever league anybody's playing in, there's that time of realization that it's just only a few that makes it in. Then you look back and think to yourself, this NCAA that I've been playing for, what do I get out of it? You go and think about everybody that's working in the NCAA right now. I'm sure if you do the math even today, 50% of them would not be former athletes. 50% of them will be people who are, so they can't, they don't have a program where like you can get former athletes back in to work. At that time I know that there was not 50%, but I'm pretty much guessing that I've never heard them say in any press conference about we want this program, but there's a program out there that's supposed to recruit former athletes, to make sure they work in the NCAA, and people are getting paid every day. That issue is some issue that's still alive, and I believe that sharecropping is alive today in the NCAA. But because some of us are too much of fans of it, so we don't complain, and the other ones who are not fans, they don't see it as an issue because they don't really pay attention to it, to what's going on. So at some point we're going to have to start standing up because these are young kids and they stand up for themselves now. I think University of Minnesota did it something, or Northwestern did something a couple of years ago, and some teams in the Pac-12 have sued and said now they're starting to get their name, they can sell their name or whatever. Something happened
Yeah,
like this.
California actually
Was,
signed something like that where players can get paid.
but he's
Because see,
like,
all that came from because at one point, but we saw about '04, that was definitely a prevalent issue. Now it isn't the collapse of the game aspect of college football, video games. Because at one point you had the succession of college football, then into Madden, NCAA, and the Madden. That was the game, and they actually structured themselves together. So your creative player in college football, you could actually draft them up into it and keep the same stats and all the same stuff you require from one game and transfer it over to a whole brand new game. And now your boy is actually playing in the league in the big team. So that's where the issue really came from, because they weren't they were getting away with showing their names by not showing their faces.
Right.
Yeah, once that became, so getting rid of the game altogether is still an issue. It's just a lot more subtle now for them. They because that became pretty much the breaking point for them, and that's where really a lot of the talk that we're hearing now stem from.
Right,
because that was helping them get into the league, but they weren't getting paid off of it. But the fact that you get into the league, you can make the money off. It was like a back end deal. It was like a back end intern deal. Like, you're gonna do all this money,
and your
you're
profits
gonna
go
do
up.
it, and you're gonna get in. But if you make it in, you're gonna get a bonus.
All right, so I'm gonna tie this all together, which goes back to what everybody's been saying, but mainly teach. When you don't know your history, somebody's gonna tell your history. They're gonna make it for you. It's like if you're not gonna make your dreams come true, you're gonna make somebody else's dream come true.
You definitely making somebody else's dream come true.
It's kind of crazy for all the things we talked about on this show, and I'm not just talking about just this year, but when this show got started, it all circles around to when it was the time for you to step up. Did you step up? Did you have all your ducks in a row? Did you have the issues that you was dealing with, and you had the solutions to present? Did you present it in a timely manner when it was asked of you? Or did you just hold it to yourself when somebody else was getting what they wanted and you didn't get what you wanted? And it's crazy because Black history shows all, and we were being revealed on inventions that we probably using right now that was invented by somebody that was Black, period. And so, and it's just crazy to me because it's like hearing everybody and all that stuff. And then you got these young kids. I mean, since we're talking about college football, for example, like now it's even worse for the college players because you got COVID out there. I forgot what that freaking disease is called where they can get it. And I don't know the final reports on that one Florida, not Florida State, but the Florida Gator basketball player that basically just fainted in the middle of the game. I haven't heard anything. Last I heard was he was in stable condition. I don't know if it upgraded to good or got worsened. I don't know. But for them not knowing their history, they're going to go by what the Europeans said. They're going to go by all the studies of Blacks weren't slaves back in the day. They were interns. And that's why a majority of the southern states is not ranked, not even in the freaking top 20 of education. Go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, look it up. Like Alabama. Y'all love Alabama. Majority of the team is Black. But let's see the whole entire school. See how their public school as a whole, as a state ranked in the nation. I guarantee you it's close to the last. Don't get me started on Arkansas. I think the only great thing Arkansas got going for them is that they had Bill Clinton, who born and raised in Little Rock, Arkansas, as president and won both his terms. Can we name anything that was good that came out of Arkansas? I'll wait. Anybody? My point exactly. So we have to go back and understand our history, because if we don't understand our history, somebody's gonna tell it for you, or
Mm-hmm.
you're making history for somebody else. And so that's why
Yes.
Black History Month is so important. That it's great that you learn something new, which go back to that old saying, if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to leave. But when it comes to Black history, nobody's smarter is not smarter than each other in the room. It's gonna be certain people like Teach, who got a lot of knowledge on it, will know something about it. But then there's going to be something that Mayo may bring to the table that she didn't know nothing about. Or I bring something to the table that they both don't know nothing about. And vice versa goes for B. Johnson. And we're not just talking about industry, we're also talking about music. People don't understand that classic music came from Black people. Music came from Black people, period.
Which one
Nobody
is it? I think they're trying to say Mozart was actually black.
Black, yeah. And they were saying that
I don't,
about
I
also,
don't know if it was Mozart or Beethoven. It's one of the great
yeah, Beethoven.
composers. Is it
Yeah,
Beethoven? I just
yeah,
see the
Beethoven.
picture in my face, and the true picture of him.
Mm-hmm.
He was like high yellow, if that's what it looked like. It was shaded. So
Yeah,
I ain't gonna say like he was like Donnell or Mario. I'm thinking like, if we just now finding out that you was possibly black, I'm going with Louisiana
Oh
Creole. Like,
boy, hold up. We got one right here. I think this is the one that I was talking about. Gives us a victimhood mentality. There's no such thing as a victimhood mentality. Let me go ahead. Who will take the look? And it's funny how
how
they
you a victim?
Hold on. If anybody
That's
wants
troll,
to,
and I
yeah, that's
appreciate
true.
the troll.
Yeah, because usually when trolls come up here, and it's been a while since we had. I don't think we even had a troll. He's actually our first one.
no. Hold on.
Congratulations.
What I'm saying is that there's always two sides to a story. So I mean, I don't want to, my point is I can see what that person can say when they say that. I mean, you saying like that looks like they're coming at us, but I mean, but I see it as like it's opportunity for me to to go intellectual in the room with them and say, okay, I see what you can be saying. Yes, if we set us foot or stakes somewhere too far into just like we just want to keep talking about this negativity and not move anywhere forward, not positively move anywhere. Yes, that's common can be, and there could be some people who engage in that. Too much of anything is bad. It's all about balancing life. The idea of not collecting our history and resharing it's just ludicrous and it's stupid. But but that's not pretty much. It's not the point. They're saying okay, it sustains for me. Yes, it landed. You threw that up. I mean, it landed. Yes, I agree with you. I don't want to sit and just talking about the past. Like I'm gonna get a real quick example. Tonight, I was just telling a couple of friends of mine, close friends who I talk to as I drive home, how my day is going because I have to be productive every day. So that's one of the. So one of the things that happened today productively is like I'm starting a couple LLCs, right? So a couple more LLCs than I've had already. So I looked up the last name McKinney, and next night I was at one popped up McKinney and Company, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, dang, and next thing I know that it has my father's name on it. It was started in 1976 before I was born, and it was shut down the year after I was born, 82, because my dad had left here. He had left the United States, right? So I'm like, man, I never even knew he had a business. You know what I mean? So it was kind of cool to notice that moment. So guess what I did? I bought it. I bought that name, so make sure I can keep the name. So anyway, so that was kind of cool because I was thinking of a different name at some point before I did that. So I bought the name. So my point saying all that is that, like it could have been one thing if I sat down and just give like reminiscing, and I did, but to not do anything forward would have been a crime to productivity. Yes, we don't want to, and I think that we need to be cautioned in our community sometimes to not dwell too much in our negativity. That was not created by us, but we pretty much it's an in-house talk that we need to talk to our people like, hey, let's try not to sit too far into this. Let's make sure we keep that history. So Nobody can tell us it didn't happen. Let's keep that, but let's also find ways that we can move forward and make
Okay.
sure. That's what I'm saying.
I
All right,
I
go
have
ahead,
to
Teach.
say
I
I
got you.
disagree.
Hey, let's let Teach say
Okay.
it. Go ahead, Teach.
That
Go
was a
ahead.
good.
Okay, I disagree. You cannot
I do too.
remove the branch from the tree. And when you go to other races and you go to their museums, they say never forget. But it only when it comes to the black people that psychologically that somehow or another is holding you back if you remember. So I totally disagree with that. And what I said earlier, when I described why do we have Black History Month, Black History Month was created during the Harlem Renaissance, and I'll reiterate this. It was created for the purpose to uplift, motivate, and inspire the people about what Blacks had been accomplishing. It was supposed to be an annual report. Every February, we would talk about the new things that had been accomplished. And if that's negative, you are a troll. If that's negative, you don't know up from down, left from right. Because during that particular time, they were going through calibrating their minds, taking themselves from ex-slaves to human. They were redefining their humanness as Africans in America. That was the purpose of Black History Month. And that's why it went from Negro History Week to Black History Month. Because we have to give that report. We have to talk about the new scientists. We have to notarize. We have to record our own history. We have to talk about, like before you come to the show, we have a new person. If we were given a report, we can report on Amanda Gorman, a brand new 22-year-old poet that gave a poem for our nation to listen to dissect, and possibly take the nation forward. So Black history is not about just remembering the past. It's remembering the roots. It's nurturing the roots. When you nurture those roots, tell me what tree receives the water on the leaves. All the water or the nurturing comes from the roots. From the roots, it shoots up through the trees, through the branches, and then finally out into the leaves. I cannot accept that in no way, no how. You can't turn it over any kind of way. You have to understand from whence you come and understand how to inspire and motivate your people. We have people that are beacons of light. Carter G. Woodson was a beacon of light. Harriet Tubman was a beacon of light. Ida B. Wells was a beacon of light. Marcus Garvey was a beacon of light. Booker T. Washington, W.E.B. Du Bois, and the list goes on and on and on. We have to call these people name and tell their story.
Well, I certainly agree. I think my bad, because I'm the one that kind of like gave him or him or her. I don't know what that name.
Don't worry, that's a troll.
Well, I mean, once again, I believe in giving the other point of view a chance, But and I'm saying I'm the one to give him a chance. All I'm saying is that we also nothing that we've said tonight is wrong in the sense of us being needing to keep our history intact and collecting it and being immersed in it enough to use it. And the part that I think that that chore, whatever you want to call it, or that actual human being that they're just really concerned, whichever they are, that part there where they came in is where we need to actually use that and captivate that and use it as a propeller for what's next. And I think that some part of a lot of criticism from people who actually troll us is that we don't do that, which I actually like, because we have a lot of people who are doing it successfully today because they've used that history to propel themselves. But the folks who actually come at us and troll us, want to say, oh, look at all those folks, they're talking about racism and racism, the race card, this, that, why do you sit down in it and you don't do nothing for it? I mean, so that's what they say. So I'm just saying that let's keep that in mind that, to some small pockets, which is often very small pockets, there's some people who don't use it to prepare themselves towards the future. And it's not just a black thing. It's a lot of folks that like to use, it could be somebody in the country or some, I don't want to use the word redneck, but I kind of use the radio right now. It's like they,
redneck's cool. Redneck is cool. Good old boy is bad now.
Okay, I didn't know which one to give
Good old
now.
boy is racist.
I don't mean
redneck's cool.
No, I don't know. Seriously, I don't mean to offend anybody, but I'm just saying it could be somebody who.
Hey, look here. This shows unfiltered. This for us. Go ahead and let the.
I know. I just got. I gotta make. So, but it could be somebody who. I should say like somebody poor white guy who who grew up in the poor, and they be like, oh no, I was poor my life, and they don't want to move anyway because they want to sit on the fact that they were poor. So it could be to any community that uses their history as a crutch, which is what that person is saying. So it's not like what he said doesn't, or he or she saying is not hitting me. I'm saying I get that. But don't say we should not know the history. Knowing the history and using it as a crutch is two different things. You can know it and know it and still use it as a propeller. And that's what we're encouraging folks to do, to know it and use it as a propeller, not as a crutch. But so I'm just saying I see where they're coming from, but they need to acknowledge too that we still need to know it. And that's what I'm saying.
Let me jump on in real quick. So on the top of the hour, we're gonna go visit Beast Community, and then after that, we're going a trip to Teach's show. Go take a trip to Africa, if I can get it right. I can't say a name. I'm sorry, Teach, but we go hit Teach segment, and then we're gonna jump into the final thought. But let me go ahead and end on this part when I address the troll. So, Ryan, if you're watching right now, you actually the very first troll to come on this show. So let me go ahead and give a little spotlight to you. So for somebody who leaves a comment and then leave, it's kind of like that one person when a bar fight happens, talk all that smack and give that one punch, and there you go running. Now, a lot of people would be like, no, don't give this person no energy, no all that stuff. No. I'm going to give you all the energy. I'm going to give you what you deserve. All trolls, we're going to give you what you deserve. We're going to school you. And I know you probably going to go under a different name, but you should use this name next time. Teach, you might want to cover your ears. All the ladies, you might want to cover your ears. This is what your username should be, and that is a bitch. Because real men or women, when they make stupid comments like that, they should at least stay on to defend it. Now, I'm all for people disagreeing with what we say, as long as you keep it respectful. But if you go sit there and make derogatory comments and then run off, shows how much of a person, or maybe a little kid, because you probably still live in your mama's basement, I guess she didn't give you those many pizza rolls that you wanted, so you just want to put your anger out and just put up a comment to make yourself feel better. But other than that, we encourage anybody to come on this show. Anybody, mainly the ones that have a different view than us, and that we can keep respectful, and that we can talk about it. And I mean that, or as people would say, on God, whatever the heck that means, on God, that we can come, you can come on this show and we have a good casual conversation. But other than that, everybody back to your corners. Beast, after these commercial breaks, we're gonna be visiting.
I think she wants to get something in real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I just want to say that oftentimes people say that, and it's a psychological trigger for those people that are assimilated. It makes them back, rethink, and like, oh yeah, I'm just too black. I'm too black. And if racism happens today in 2021, I'm using it as a crutch. No, people, if racism happens in 2021, racism is happening.
Yeah.
And that's brand new for that situation at that time. It is not a crutch. They make that statement on the basis as if racism does not exist and is not perpetrated. Racism is continually being perpetrated. And my thing is this, they always blame, quote unquote, the victim. But I said, let's go after the action. If there is no racism perpetrated, then I don't have to play any card. If they don't start it, it won't be any. And we have to stand right there. We can't back like, oh, I may have offended somebody because I remember that you actively engage in racism generation after generation after generation after generation, that you are your grandmother or you are your grandfather and your grandfather is you. As he passed down his blue eyes and his blonde hair, he passed on his racism too. So watch out for the psychological triggers to try to make you feel less or that you're wrong or that you're not feeling or experiencing what you're feeling and you're experiencing. If I experience racism today in 2021, I'm not experiencing old racism. I'm experiencing new racism because I'm in 2021. And if it happens to look just like what my grandmother experienced in 1822,
Ain't that something?
then what can I say? I will not feel self-conscious like I'm playing the race card. No, you played the race card. You created the game. You pulled
They
me into
still
this
playing
field.
this
You
model.
backed me into the corner. So we're going to fight the way you want. Or I'm going to fight the way I need to. And it's not the way that you want.
And Teach says, draw for Uno. Booyah. And her color is black. And let's go ahead to let's go into the community after these breaks.
Good evening. I'd like to get on my old 60 Minutes and be like the old dude he used to have at the end that just used to give his wise random thoughts. I think his name was Andy Rooney. I could be wrong. But in my community, people know who they are and are okay with that. They know where they've been. They know where they're at. And they know where they want to go. And they're cool with it. And they're cool with everyone else feeling the same way. That's a great community, ain't it? Acknowledging where you've been, not forgetting it, all the while not commiserating in it. Being appreciative of where you're at now, acknowledging where you've come from by still acknowledging your past, all the while taking your lessons from the hard, from the terrible, from the tragic, from the ugly times, coupled with the successful, positive long lasting words of wisdom, you are better attuned and better prepared for the future that you already know. I feel like if we establish this type of mentality within our own communities and then branch out, we can get to a nation that is okay with what's currently going on, but not in a passive, enabling sense. As long as you acknowledge where you came from and don't shy from it and aren't doing this or acting in a way to run from your past, you can be a very functional and beneficial component of society and of your own community. But to run away and disavow everything that led up to you being here at this precise moment is beyond the level of hubris and ignorance that would even befuddle God. To put it locally, how can you sit here and say you're an adult and basically disavow your childhood? Well, why we got to talk about my childhood and me growing up? I'm an adult. It got you here. Certain things you know now and do now, or were experienced to, happened then. So why not embrace it and acknowledge it? Yeah, there might have been some bad times in it. Don't mean you got to sit there and dwell on this shit. As I stated earlier, live to be 37. In my particular life, that is a shock, especially 10 years ago. So to see where I'm at now, not just monetarily, spiritually, metaphysically, and esoterically, is a hell of a lot better than where I was earlier. Except for this evil man beast over here, but that's another story. Anyway, other than sensitive dogs, we must live in a calm yourself. Shut up. Calm yourself. Calm down. But anyway, our community must be focused on the overall balanced aspect of life. I say you can't know where you're going till you know where you're at and where you're being. That way you know you're not going in circles. So apply that to your own community. And in turn, apply it to your own nation. Thanks for stopping by my community. Hope you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, Malala. That means hello in the language of Cameroon. We are 34 days away from um, going to Cameroon. And I want to thank all of the donors that have donated towards the tablets and the internet for the Bosco Secondary School, a rural area in Cameroon. We want to thank you. We're still shy of our goal, so if you have not donated, we would appreciate it if you would. The students are excited about our arrival, and I'm going to, the next couple of weeks, we're going to look at some previous footage of the type of festivals that I participated in the past, from fashion shows to beauty pageants to the food. And actually, you know, one of the things that I like to do when I go to a foreign country, I like to go into the kitchen. Those that know me know that I love to cook and I can handle a piece of meat. No matter what kind it is, I can make it taste good. But anyway, I have a few videos that I'm going to show you of me actually going in the kitchen and making light soup, cooking chicken, um, gâteau la maize, which is a cake, um, and some egusi pudding. I had the opportunity to actually go through the process of making a goosey pudding. So we're going to look at some of the Cameroonian dishes and upcoming shows just to give you a taste and a flavor of Cameroon. And we passed our deadline. Yesterday was the last day that you could book to actually go on the trip because of the visa process and the mail and everything. So January 31st was the last day. So we are excited to go to Cameroon and perform our community, global community day of service through the African Roots and Heritage Foundation. Like I said, we already purchased the tablets. We just have to raise the rest of the money to purchase the internet router boxes for the school and the internet bundles, as they call it. So that will be it. Wow, I'm trying to think of the word neck and yoke. Which means goodbye. And I'll have more language for you too as we delve into the cultures and the people of Cameroon. So, neck and yoke for tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, I I can't believe I forgot about this. When I was doing the doing the unsung of Willie T. Ribs, I forgot that we lost an icon, Cicely Tyson. Now, a lot of y'all probably remember her from uh, what's that one movie, Roots? People remember her from there. Live, y'all, if y'all into those movies, y'all remember Hoodlum, where she played the Queenie with Lawrence Fishburne. Many of y'all probably remember her from a lot of the Tyler Perry movies that she's done. But hearing that she passed away, she lived to be 96, speaks volumes. And so I want to pass along this clip, this tribute to her. Thank goodness we got enough time for it. So, Cicely Tyson, may you, Queen, may you rest in power. You will be missed. I myself is definitely going to go back and watch some of the movies that made you who you are, and you will be surely missed.
This morning, the good Lord sent me a message. He told me to drive and keep on driving until he told me to stop. And I did that. And then the good Lord told me to turn down this here dirt road and to stop right here. Amen. Then he told me to cut the car off and to wait. And that's what I've been doing. We've been waiting for almost 7 hours. Wait for what? I don't know. But then you take this. Wait for you. You're the angel that God told me to wait here for. Yes. Amen. Look. God said this. Wait.
I'll be safe.
And if y'all wondering what movie that came from Idlewild. And once again, Cicely Tyson and to her family from the whole entire cast, I won't say cast, panelists, hashtag Fade to Black, want to send our condolences to the family of Miss Cicely Tyson. And Cicely Tyson, once again, thank you for your memories. Thank you for your grace. Thank you for your strength, for your brilliance to not only just kick down barriers for Black people, but also for Black women. Your work here is done. Be at peace with the ancestors. And that right there is my final thought.
Well. Good evening, everyone. Sorry, I came in the back of a classroom, like I said earlier today, and I couldn't get the top part of the show. But one thing I'm excited about was being able to get this last part of the show, and I want to use my last, all my good evenings today, to and probably throughout the whole February to honor somebody in Black history that is unsung, because we often hear about the popular folks, the folks who media or whoever wants us to know about, but the ones who they don't want us to know about are the ones that I kind of like want to dive in more, because they're all the same to me and they all walked in different levels. So today I would love to talk about, and hopefully everybody that don't do they have not heard about him should go and Google and do research, and just do research on who he is. I pay tribute today to Vernon Johns, Minister Vernon Johns. What you will find out is that he was the pastor at Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama, and he was the predecessor to the young and supposedly more mild temper uh, preacher that they brought in after they kicked him out because he was pissing off white folks. And when he made a sermon, one of his favorite sermons is talking about is I'm paraphrasing, but one of his favorite, most popular sermon was talked about how the killing season is started for Negroes. Negro killing season is started, meaning that he's making fun of white folks who are killing us, like we were hunting. Um, uh, like we were hunting tools or animals to be hunted. So Vernon Johns, born in 1892, April 22nd, in Darlington Heights, Virginia, and died in Washington, D.C. on June 11th, 1965. He went to Oberlin College, and one of the funny parts of the story, and I'm gonna yield pretty soon. One of the funny parts of the story is when he actually got to Oberlin College, and he was trying to study divinity, and want to study all this stuff, and they threw a Bible that was in Greek language at him. I mean, they didn't throw it at him, but they gave it to him. Like, if he can study that, then they can get in the school, because they didn't want to admit him to the school. And he was able to study and pass the test. He was just a very intelligent guy. So and again, he was very aggressive. He was the Christian version of Malcolm X back then, and they felt like, oh, like this guy is too harsh to what we're doing. And then the Black folks who are in the church, which I want to pay attention, I want everybody to pay attention that the Black folks who are in the church, the deacons and stuff, got together to try to get rid of him, so that he can keep the heat of them, so to speak. And there lies some of our issues there, in my opinion, that we repeat in history. And we have a lot of Black folks who are elected who sit down there and want to play the cool game, in opposed to being very direct at our issues and saying that we need to stop things and mean things head on. So, but definitely Vernon Johns. There's been books and all this stuff by him. But one of the things, if people who like watching movies, there's a movie about him. The Vernon Johns story is a beautiful movie played by James L. I think James L. Jones or something. But anyway, yeah, Vernon John story, one of the best stories I've ever heard in my life. Beautiful man, family. And definitely I pay tribute to him today. And I just conclude asking everyone to try to live in a Vernon John's light, especially the preachers that we have today. Try to speak truth to power. Try not to be intimidated. You are some of the people that we consider leaders in our community. So if you are ones going to the plate and you balking at the plate, then we have a problem. You gotta be the ones that like throwing strikes and hitting home runs. We cannot afford preachers to be the ones that like shucking and jiving and all kind of stuff, as well as folks who are in office. So again, I commend Vernon Johns for what he's been to us. Now hopefully we have more Vernon Johns to come in the future. I said thank you and good night to everyone.
When conducting a choir, a good conductor must be able to take everyone's voice and tune it and lower it and get it at the right pitch for everyone to be heard. Today, we've taken the individual mentality and feel like my voice needs to be heard. Well, your voice can be heard, but your voice needs to be heard along with others. So it's not going to be the loudest voice out there. You may get a moment to shine, like, Black Men United, you will know, with some hallelujah. You're going to get that moment where your voice is heard, but it's not going to be an entire verse or an entire solo. Maybe. Who's to say? When your moment comes up, you do your thing. Point being, till that time comes, blend in with the background and make sure your voice is being sustained. So since it's Black History Month, let us take knowledge and comfort and wisdom from the words of our anthem, the National Negro Spiritual. Lift every voice and sing till love and heaven ring, ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith and the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. If you ain't figured it out by the first part, go listen to the other two parts. That's what we need to do. That's how we can unite. I hope y'all enjoy. Hope you enjoyed the show. Love you.
That was awesome. I sang with you behind the scenes. I want to give a tribute to an unsung person. And today is the day of his passing away in 1991, February 1st, 1991. Lawrence Bartell, my father. I was the only daughter, only child of his. And he was misunderstood. But I love him. Father, I love you. And I cannot be except that you were. And we talked about history and how some people say, oh, don't dwell on the past. But what they don't know is there's a secret. That the past is the future. The future is the present. And it becomes the past. For we all pass away. But Lawrence Bartell, I thank you for being my father. I thank you for passing on wisdom to me, knowledge and understanding. I thank you for your being, because as you were, I am. I am my father's daughter. And with that, I say continue to rest in peace and good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for us. Why y'all trying to give a tearjerker about the end of the show? Come on now.
I ain't gonna be the only one trying to get my G back. All right now.
All right. So fortunately, we're gonna be in this show on time. We will be back with y'all on Wednesday. But we do have a special on Friday, which we will not reveal, but on the Wednesday, which I need to talk to my panel about more on tomorrow. But other than that, thank y'all for tuning in. As for Anita Job, aka Teach Beast Johnson, Mayo, and then your gracious host, Martin Morris. We also like to thank our two sponsors, Sky Zone Society, and as well as Shutter Boy Popcorn for sponsoring both halves of this show. And with that, we're outro. Thank y'all for tuning to hashtag Fade to Black. We, ladies and gentlemen, once again, let's remind you, we control the narrative. We're outro. Catch y'all later. See y'all on Friday. Catch y'all later.
Bye.
See y'all
Good
soon.
night.